we streaming? We're going to say we're streaming. Okay. You on left?
Yes.
Good. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of this triple threat show on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. I am joined, as always, by my two friends and co-hosts,
Shane Brisland
and
Hayden Raymer.
Today we have an excellent show for you guys tonight. Guess what?
What?
It's been a year. 1 year anniversary of the Triple Threat show is officially tonight. I totally have something special planned. I totally meant to get like special little party hats. Which, by the way, you could go see these absolute party hats that we are totally wearing over on the Triple Threat YouTube at the Triple Threat show, where we stream our shows live with camera until someone's computers die.
I'm halfway there. I'm wearing a hat. It's not necessarily a party hat, but it's a hat.
Yeah. So this is the 1 year anniversary. It's been wonderful doing this for a year with you guys. I just wanted to say I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being so awesome and helping me with this. It's really been a dream of mine for a very long time. So
I appreciate
thank you
that
for
you allowed us to be on the show and you haven't kicked us out yet.
Well,
we stuck around this long.
Besides that, how has your guys' weeks been?
It's been good. Nothing too much to complain about. School. Oh, I did volunteer at the JMU football game.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well, they absolutely, football-wise, absolutely demolished Middle Tennessee. It was, moving up to the FBS Sun Belt Conference. No problems.
No
For
problems.
the first
No issues.
Game. Yeah.
Undefeated, right?
Yeah.
Alabama, here we come.
Oh yeah. Overall, it didn't really do that much. It was just you had to stand for long periods of time, and I had just answered questions and stuff like that.
Were you like one of the you know how they all had the on-field entertainment stuff? Were you the person that fed the people corn?
Unfortunately, no. I was the person who's grabbing streamers.
You heard it here first. Shane wanted to hand feed people corn.
Corn?
Yep, it's got the knobs.
The juice?
And the juice, yeah. Would have been so fun. No, I just grabbed streamers, and then in the beginning, I was standing at the front of the security line, telling people throwing away their waters, and then I was in front of the alcohol line saying, hey, you have to have a wristband, and stuff like that.
Wow, what a party pooper.
Yeah, all for the extra credit,
Of course. What about you, Hayden? How's your week been?
I worked a lot.
Nice.
And at least you got the bonus check coming in soon.
Yeah.
I'd be happy about that.
Oh, I will. Until then, I'm going to be quite sad.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, I say we get into the I'm sorry. Let's get into the JMU Sports Report.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, long-time tradition of this show, JMU Sports Report.
Mm-hmm.
By far our best segment, voted on by the Academy. JMU Sports.
Which one?
The Academy.
Oh, okay.
The Academy.
The Academy.
Just
My bad.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. It's a real short one this week. I just wanted to highlight some of the highs JMU had. JMU football, we touched on it a little bit.
Yep.
44-7, first move up to the FBS. Now, it's pretty good. Todd Centennial, quarterback, 6 touchdowns, led the team in rushing. Chris Thornton, 3 touchdowns, had himself a game. It's the connection we want to see.
The defense was holding on to a shutout up until the fourth quarter.
Had a safety in there too.
Yeah. It was all around very good team performance by JMU.
Absolutely.
And what was it, Centennial?
Something like that.
Yeah. He threw some dimes. There was I saw one of the touchdowns where it was just there was a guy had two defenders on him and just fit it right into that window he was running into the end zone. So it's half of it was like JMU is really good and Middle Tennessee just looked awful. Because I was gonna say, what if just Middle Tennessee's just that bad? But I'm
can't
giving
be.
JMU
It can't
some
be.
credit.
Can't be
I was
that.
gonna ask, like, where does Middle Tennessee kind of rank in the college football realm?
Not ranked, so not top 25. Probably not close to top 25, but probably not last.
Because what are they, like the worst team in their league?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know much about them. I don't think they are though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. That was like my main question after the game was kind of like, is JMU just like all their new transfers, all their new students that good, or is it?
Well, Chris Thornton is a returner.
Yeah, I'm not saying like everyone on there, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of new faces to the program compared to like, I feel like last year we kind of talked about like the same 2 or 3 people.
Well, yeah, because who's the quarterback again?
Cole Johnson.
Cole Johnson, yeah, he had a really good year, and you're kind of like new quarterback. You're wondering like if he could repeat that success, and so far he already tied one of Cole Johnson's record for most touchdowns in a game. So I think, and this guy is a much better runner than Cole Johnson.
Yep.
He's got that dual threat to him. So
We were talking about it a little bit when he originally transferred. We were talking about how he, had that dual threat ability. He has the arm, you saw it.
Yeah.
He might not have as strong of an arm as Cole Johnson does, but he can fit it into windows that Cole Johnson could never. I don't love some of his decision making. I was watching a little bit of the game. I don't love some of his decision making. Even on some of the touchdowns, he would throw it into triple coverage. It was placed perfectly. It was still triple coverage though, and I'm not looking around the rest of the field to see if there's a better option, but maybe there was a better option. It worked out, obviously, but maybe against a better defense it wouldn't.
yeah,
So he had an incredible game. I'm not going to take anything from that. 6 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at. Leading the team in rushing on top of that is impressive. He had like over 400 total yards by himself, and it's an excellent way to start your season. But there's also stuff to work on. It's not as obvious as the stuff with Cole Johnson last year, but there's stuff to work on. But, undefeated. I think we're the only team in FBS history without a loss.
Did ODU lose?
they beat Tech.
They've been in the FBS for a bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's also a story though, but they huge upset over Tech again.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've been in the FBS before. I think they have.
Okay.
Who, Old Dominion?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have them.
I didn't know. I just know they also came to the Sun Belt this year, so I was.
The ODU?
Yeah.
Oh, I
When
thought they
Sun
were in
Belt-
here previously, or they were in a different division. And
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're in the Sun Belt now, and they were transferring like to the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Same
They
place.
transferred with us.
Okay.
Or moved over with us.
Yep.
All
So
that matters is they beat Tech.
yes, and this will actually lead perfectly because I told you it was a nice short JMU sports report. That'll lead perfectly into college football because I want to talk about that real quick because it was an incredible Saturday of games. You had, even before, it was just a great week. Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion.
And
You
they
brought
got their
that up.
locker room robbed.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's Norfolk for you. Living in that area, you see on the news all the time. Norfolk's not really there's some not so great parts of town.
But that's not even the craziest part of the game. Because at halftime, right, Virginia Tech, the game got delayed, right? And the reason the game got delayed is because the Virginia Tech coaching staff got stuck in an elevator. So this is a new head coach. They fired their old head coach after they lost to Old Dominion last year. So he got fired. And they're like, okay, new era, new Virginia Tech. Halftime, gets stuck in an elevator at Old Dominion. Proceeds to lose the game.
Some psychological
fired
warfare
yet?
there.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Maybe though.
Yeah, so I watched the recap, and the Virginia Tech quarterback, he's got some talent. He's got some definite arm strength. It's just horrible decision-making at times because he threw a few awful picks, and that really cost them the game. That when you can't get the offense going.
Yeah.
And then ODU has like a really good running back. And then their defense, again, showed up causing those turnovers. So it wasn't the best football, but it was more entertaining because there was just constant sloppiness on both teams.
It's college football for
you.
Yeah.
Which is the best part about college football is when you get to see, these unpolished plays and you just don't know what's going to happen next.
There were some other fun things. Rutgers, for instance, they won their game. They didn't have a starting quarterback.
So what, they just run it or just rotate quarterbacks?
They
constantly?
had their first drive. Let me run through what I remember off the top of my head real quick. First play, tight end. He's the quarterback. Takes a snap, runs. Second play, different guy plays quarterback, not the tight end. I think it was a running back. Plays quarterback, runs it. Takes a few yards. Okay? Then I think it was 3 yards and 2 yards, right?
Yeah.
Next play, different quarterback comes in, gets like 2 yards. So they've gained 7 yards now, right? Fourth down, false start. They punted away. They had more quarterbacks than yards on that drive. And they ended up winning this game.
Did they end up throwing the ball at all?
A little bit. Their leading passer had, I believe, 50 yards.
How many passers did they have?
Why don't we check that out? Let's go look at this Rutgers box score. But their leading receiver, I believe, had 24 yards. 2 for 24.
One was 23, the other one was 1 yard.
Yeah. I'm curious to look at the quarterback stat line.
22 to 21. Quarterback stat line. Leading passer, E. Simon, 8 for 12 for 63 yards. Pretty good.
Yep.
Happy with that. Let's check out this full box score, shall we?
So, Jeremy, why did this happen?
Because their quarterback was hurt.
Okay.
And they just decided to,
There's not a backup QB on the roster.
I guess he was hurt too.
There's not a backup. There's not a guy who played QB in high school.
That's why they had the tight end. He was the backup.
And he didn't throw at all.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, there were just some other really good finishes. LSU versus Florida State. That game ended that was a crazy game. Florida State was up by 7. And then LSU muffed a punt at their own 1 yard line. Florida State goes and get the ball, right? At this point, there's 2 minutes left in the game. So they're just going to go run it in, end the game, right? No, that's not what's going to happen. Instead, they're going to fumble it. LSU is going to recover. LSU is then going to proceed to drive 99 yards down the field in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Score a touchdown. Miss an extra point.
Oh my god.
Game over. Lose the game. College football is so much fun.
Yeah.
But we have, I think Clemson is playing right now, or playing today, and then this week will be over. So, all I'm saying is, JMU is going to the college football playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Oh yeah.
they just expanded it, didn't they?
Yeah, they expanded it. Not right now. It's going to go into effect, I think they said 2024.
Okay.
To 12 teams. So as of right now, it's 4 teams. And they're going to expand it to 12.
That's quite a bit of expansion.
It is. I was curious. Do you guys think that's a good move? Bad move?
I think it's a good move because it's just not fair just to have only 4 teams and it's by a ranking, which is full of bias. At least with 12 teams, you get to see more top teams in it for a chance to compete.
Right. And that's a good argument, right? That's one that I like to think about. You know, helps with recruiting. You make the playoffs, you have a chance to play for the championship, you know? The NCAA makes more money. Who says no?
Yeah.
Right? Who says no? But then I hear the other side. And the other side is, this week, Georgia played Oregon. Oregon was ranked number 11. Georgia was ranked number 3. You want to know what the final score of that game was?
Probably 40-something to 7.
Very close. It was 49-3.
Yeah.
Georgia walked the floor with them. And that's one of the things. Like, yeah, go add the 11th team in the nation and see what happens, right?
But that's the thing about football. You never know what's going to happen.
Right, you do never know. It's just, there's such a large gap, there's a large disparity between these teams, between the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, and, you know, even the Oregons, the Utahs, and those guys that are still good teams, really, really good college teams. But, you know, they can't compete with the guys all the way up here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that it's just something I heard from the other side that I thought was interesting. Excuse me. But you know, I'm in support of it. I think it's good. First of all, I'm shocked that it even got shot down even once, because it's just going to make them more money. You know, more college football games, more money for the NCAA.
Yeah.
Right? That's something that I'm shocked, you know, even
Turning down free money right there.
Especially playoffs, where it's going to matter more.
Yeah, we get more viewings, more ad revenue.
And, you know, instead,
More butts in the seats.
more butts in the seats.
That's all that matters. Get butts and seats.
Yeah, but instead, you know, it's going to go into effect, and we'll see how it is. There's obviously no going back. They're not going to shrink it again. That's just not going to.
Could.
When has a league ever been like, you know what? I want less money.
The Hayden League.
The Hayden League, yeah? What sport is the Hayden League?
Foosball.
Foosball.
Why are you shaking your head, Shane?
No comment.
What does the Hayden League stand for?
Hayden.
Okay. I respect it.
Thank you.
The long honored tradition of the Hayden League foosball.
Mhm. HBO.
Shane, you good at football? Foosball?
I'm okay, I guess. It's been a while, but I'd probably be decent at it.
We need to host
to do an apartment foosball.
I think we need to host a triple threat foosball tournament open to all listeners. All 0 of you listening right now.
Hey, listen, I talk about the show at work. You know, I'm sure at least one of like the 20 people every time I sell a phone, I'm like, hey, by the way, I have a radio show. You should listen.
It's preloaded with the triple threat show on it.
Yeah. You're just gonna tune in at 88.7 FM Harrisonburg.
Yeah. Quick, Shane, you know how to be a computer science person. Code a triple threat app.
Why are you looking at me?
You seem like you know code.
You know code, Jeremy. This
Yeah.
is very thinly.
What?
I'm tired.
Yeah. I can tell.
Words are not working right now.
Yeah. Words are hard. Brain
Words
no
are
work.
hard, especially when you're tired.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You're just saying that because he's half Asian. That's what I was
what?
trying to say.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I was trying to say, but like words are hard.
Okay, coming out
Yeah.
on air.
I think that's what Jeremy is implying here.
I think that's
Just because
that's
I'm half Asian means
that you
I
know
know
how
how
to
to
code and computer science.
which is a completely awful assumption,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Come on.
Yeah, that's
You're
totally,
giving me way too much credit than I
definitely, definitely what I was absolutely
Yeah.
totally implying.
It's okay. We all have our biases, Jeremy. It's just that we have to call each other out on them and make sure that we, acknowledge that, we have our biases and that we need to get rid of the bad ones,
Of course.
Keep the good ones.
You have a good bias?
I have a good bias.
What's your good bias?
I'm pretty cool.
That's a pretty good bias.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want to talk about some baseball, Hayden?
I mean, we can.
Is there anything that happened in baseball this week?
I mean, Nick Castellanos is hurt.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Are the Phillies still hot right now?
Are the Phillies still hot right now? Let's look. They are one game out of the playoffs.
No, they're not hot anymore.
Or, am I doing the math right? How many teams?
3.
3. They are in the playoffs. Sorry, I'm still used to the old playoff format. I haven't adjusted yet.
Who's behind them? Who's on their tail?
The Brewers.
The Brewers.
Do you think the Hater trade good, bad now that we have kind of a little bit more?
Hater's been struggling since he went to San Diego, yeah?
Yeah. That's putting it nicely. He's been terrible since he's gone to San Diego.
What's he done?
Let me pull up the exact.
I don't need exact if you don't want to do exact, but
I'm looking at pulling up his profile.
give me his profile.
Pulling up, what has he done?
What has he done?
There's a article actually that they just put out.
No. Who?
July through 9.1 innings pitched with a 12.54 ERA. August 4.2 with an 23.14. So.
That's not very good.
Yeah, he only threw 4 innings post trade deadline and has a 23.14.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not been good.
Well, that's just a reliever thing. Isn't that if you get blown up in 1 inning, doesn't that mean your ERA explodes?
He just hasn't been good.
Okay. Well, we'll wait to see if he's still Josh Hader. I'm not going to use 13 innings of bad work against him, Maybe he just has an injury he hasn't disclosed, It's possible.
It is. But, we kind of see this stuff happen all the time, the Rays kind of got out under from Snell, you know what I mean?
What?
The Rays, when they traded Snell to the Padres, I am of the belief that they saw something that we didn't see.
Oh, that Snell's been pretty good for the Padres.
This year, but before that, he was not great. He hasn't been anywhere near
I know he was
form.
elite level with the Rays, but I thought he was still pretty solid.
He's solid, but he's been nothing close to the dominant starter that he once was. Now I'm starting to think, maybe the Brewers are kind of noticed something, and they're we can't fix this, and they're okay, here Padres, take this guy for a bunch of people.
Yeah, that would make sense. Be a very good move. That'd be very smart.
Except they haven't been good. They've been terrible since the trade.
Well, they're almost in the playoffs.
Almost, but they were in the playoffs. They were winning the division.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
the Cardinals have been in that.
They've been in the race. They were.
Okay.
It was close.
Okay.
Cardinals have a sizable lead now.
The Brewers can't hit. Their issue was never the bullpen because they have the Devin Williams. The issue was that their bats just don't work. They just don't.
Well, they don't have. In 19 they had a bunch of really good bats, and they haven't really quite I mean, their best.
They've got Christian
now.
Yelich and
Willie Adames.
Willie Adames, and they've got Rowdy Tellez. They've got Andrew. They've got the corpse of Andrew McCutcheon.
If we are sorting by. Let me find.
They've got Urias. He's been pretty good this year.
Okay, so sorting by OPS. Hunter Renfroe with his 832 OPS.
There you go.
Best bet. Then you have Keston Hira, Rowdy Tellez, and then you start to kind of fall off a little bit. You have Jace Peterson, Mike Brazeau, Colton Wong, Christian Yelich.
Well, I don't know what it is. It's not like they don't. Look, a couple of those guys should be hitting better, right? I don't know what happened to Christian Yelich after his MVP.
It's his knee. Because remember, I don't know if you remember, he missed 2019, September and beyond of 2019 because he fractured his knee or whatever.
Right.
He's not been the same since.
Right. He fell off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good.
No, it's not.
I think that might go down. That contract is going to look terrible.
Yeah, if he keeps...
It's not going to be Strasburg bag purely because
he's actually playing. Yeah.
But that is going to be a terrible contract.
Yeah, how big's the contract, do you know?
I think it's something 216. Let me look.
What you figuring out over there, Shane?
Oh, I'm just looking at how the Twins are doing.
9,250. They're not winning the division.
They're not
are
doing
they?
too hot.
Nah, the Twins started being bad.
Buxton's on the IL too.
There you go. There's the reason. We figured it out.
The
White Sox.
Their hitting's also been down too.
White Sox are one game behind Guardians.
White Sox revival tour?
White Sox revival tour.
White Sox back in action?
They're really one game behind the Guardians.
When did this happen? I thought the White Sox were hopelessly out of it.
Sorry, 2 games back.
When did this happen?
They're one win behind. They've played 3 more games.
Yeah, they're all pretty close. Cleveland, the Twins, and the White Sox, they all could potentially get that division.
69, 68, 68 wins.
Yeah.
And then 64, 65, 67 losses.
All right.
So.
It's tight. Without Buxton, Twins are, not in a good spot.
Yeah. The Rays are only 5 games behind the Yankees.
The Yankees have been so bad recently.
I think it was a few weeks ago, but after the first 2 months, they were 10 games below 500. Or something like that.
Really?
It was something crazy. Where after the first month and a half, or it was some stat, but their last 50 games, they were 21 in 29.
Did their bad pitching finally catch up to them, or because I think that was their issue, right? They lacked pitching depth.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and then they traded away some pitching too. Which
I mean, their lineup is just. I mean, they have some solid players.
Other
Jose
than
Trevino is a all-star caliber catcher. DJ LeMahieu is a solid player. Rizzo, Carpenter have both been solid. But outside of that, there's not a whole lot of depth. It's just kind of a bunch of low-end regulars. And then there's Aaron Judge.
Obviously, yeah. Crushing
50,
And he's
55?
gonna have a 10-war season.
Yeah.
He's going to have a 10-war season. Which in baseball is ridiculous. That is absurd.
He's got, almost 20 more home runs than the next closest guy.
He is having a season of the ages. This is honestly single-handedly one of the best seasons, I think, since Bonds.
Really?
This is Mookie Betts 2018, Harper 2015 levels.
You think he has a chance of getting to 73?
73 home runs?
What's he at? 54? 55?
He hit 54 tonight, I think. Or today.
And how many games do we got left?
20 something? 30?
Yeah, there's a chance, but
He's
gotta have
projected
the
to hit 8
ridiculous
more.
pace.
and that was with including one today. He's projected to have a 10.3 WAR season.
I don't know the comparisons for that, so.
I mean, you find
You should easily be able to get 60 with the amount of games. I would be shocked if he doesn't
I
hit
don't know,
60
man.
at
Home
this
runs are
pace.
hard to hit. Like,
But when you're on this historic of a pace, though,
yeah, I mean, it. The pace he's been on this week, he's hitting one a night.
yeah.
he has. This week, he's hitting them in spurts. And then I'm just going to sort since 1940. Is it 42?
Sure.
When did Jackie play?
That sounds about right. 40.
4.
It's somewhere in the 40s, early 40s.
Okay, so I'm just trying to do since integration because I think an interesting discussion we can have is do like stats and sports count really? Can you consider somebody the greatest of all time if they played pre-integration in their sport?
See, what's interesting about that is, and I know you can talk about that because there's some greats pre-integration in
Favors.
basketball and in football, and I don't know much about integration in hockey. And I know we talked about the guy that broke the color barrier for the
Yeah,
Bruins,
But it's not
but
really.
besides just talking about it once, I don't know much about it.
It's not really like black players make up like what 1% of the NHL.
Sure.
So it's just kind of like it's not like you're taking away half the competition. It's maybe like a few guys, because I know there was this recent black player who was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he could have been a great NHL player if it wasn't for racism at the time.
Right.
But other than like Willie O'Ree and that other guy, I can't really think of any other like prominent players who that was like not able to play. So it's not really as huge of a factor in the NHL, but it's still, a prominent issue.
Right.
But like going off of what you said, I don't like including integration, it's just kind of hard to compare greatest of all times even by eras.
What I was trying to get at before we splintered off a bit was that the question about integration is really only one for talking about the greatest in your sport, seems to be one that's specific for baseball, right? Because basketball, you have Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? That's obviously post integration, and there's some greats from before it. You got guys like Bob Cousy. He's great. Don't know much about him, but he's a legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in football, you're not talking about whoever was before integration. I don't even know when football was integrated, honestly. But you're not talking about the greatest of all time being before then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baseball's the only sport where you're having that, and it's an important discussion to have, obviously. But it's really is a baseball-oriented discussion, and I think that's... I don't know why that is.
Well, I mean, like, when did the NFL, start?
The NFL they just celebrated their 100th season 1 or 2 years ago. So, a little more than 100 years.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause
1946 was the year that... Wait, no. Why is baseball not football?
46. That's when Jackie Robinson was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put that in my little list, or that's the year I'll have the cutoff for seasons, or single seasons. But, I mean, if he puts up 10.3,
Yeah, it was
That'll be
1946.
tied for, the 18th best season.
That's when integration was for the
Since
NFL?
For the
integration.
NFL, yeah.
Okay.
Was when?
1946.
And that's for the NFL?
For the NFL, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't... You mentioned was the greatest season since who?
It would be tied for like the 18th best season. Kind of the people who are ahead of him, or tied with him. We're talking about Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Barry Bonds, Ted Williams, Cal Ripken, 2018 Mookie Betts, Joe Morgan, Stan the Man, Carl Yastrzemski, and Lou Boudreau, who's probably the person I know the least about on that list.
It's pretty good company.
Yeah, a lot of Barry Bonds, a lot of Mickey Mantle, a lot of
Willie Mays. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It would be better than any. If he put up 10.3 WAR, he'd be better than any season Mike Trout on a WAR basis has ever put up.
All right.
Which, yeah.
It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets to 73? Like,
Home
don't.
runs?
Yeah.
No.
What do you think he gets to? Like, don't worry about the projections. I know you said it's supposed to be 8, but
I would be surprised if he passed. I think at most he passes Roger Maris. So like.
What's that? 63?
Is it 62 or 64?
I think it's 63.
Yes, I think that's Roger Maris. 63.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if he hit 64. Like that's at most he hit 64. I think he probably hit 60.
All right.
Yeah. I think 60 is a good, solid number to reach.
Just one more home run race before we move on. Albert Pujols against time. Pujols hit number 695 today, I believe.
Yep. Or
Yes, whatever. He hit 695 in the game he played most recently. 5 more? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Is he just chasing the?
He's chasing 700. He'd be the third all-time to hit 700 home runs. He's one away from tying A-Rod at 796.
I want to hit 2 more.
I think he will at least pass him. The question is whether or not he gets to 700.
Do you think?
Who's the most all-time?
Most all-time, it's Hank Aaron, yeah? No? Barry? Right, because that was the whole thing.
This is Barry Bonds,
Yeah.
King, all that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he's at like 740 something, I think.
60, but
Close.
it's high 700.
It's less than 800.
What should we call it? Albert's not passing him at all.
He's retiring after this year. The question is whether or not he hits 700.
And then there's 30, 20 something games left.
Somewhere I think I saw he had 27 games until the season's over.
I think the better question is, does the manager play him every day?
Yes.
Yes. When you're chasing a record
First
like
of all,
that,
he's a DH, right? He's not playing the field. He's DHing. And you know what's going to get butts in the stands for the Cardinals more than anything else right now?
The playoff hunt and making
Albert
playoffs.
Pujols.
Yeah.
Making
They
playoffs.
are fairly secure in making the playoffs right now.
They're up like 8.5 games.
Okay. You tell me putting Albert Pujols in the lineup is going to lose them 8 games.
Yeah. No. No, I think that team's really good.
Yeah, I look,
I'm
as long
skeptical of the pitching, but that offense is really good.
as long as they're not having him play like center field, he's not going to have that huge of an impact on the outcome of the game unless it's positive, right? He's not going to have that much of a negative impact. He's not going to have that much of a negative impact.
Okay.
Like, the biggest negative impact he'll have is he grounds out into a double play with the bases loaded and they're down by 1. That's the most negative impact. It's not going to be, it's all Albert Pujols' fault that they lost the last 10 games of the season. Right? I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be playing.
Okay.
Right? It's for the good. It's good fun. And what's their magic number at this point? Like 10? Something like that?
I don't know.
They're close. They're really close. They'll get there. So there's no reason not to play him.
Yeah. Like, especially, like, let the veteran try to chase that record.
Right.
Like,
It's
let him cement those career milestones. Like, who doesn't want to see that?
It's the end of the era in St. Louis. You're losing Yadier Molina. You're losing Albert Pujols. You're maybe, kind of, potentially, maybe losing Adam Wainwright. Those are 3 future, maybe not
who?
maybe not Hall of Famers, but definitely Ring of Honor guys.
Who in that list is in a Hall of Fame?
I was trying to think about whether or not Wainwright's a Hall of Famer.
I'm sure we're on the same page. I thought you were going to say, like, Molina's on
No. He's like the greatest defensive catcher of all time. He's up there. No, don't give me that. Don't give me them.
He's on Pud Galvin.
Hayden was giving Jeremy a look. That's what
They
the
can see it.
silence was.
They can see it.
Well, if they're on the radio.
No, they're watching on YouTube. Just like this one bot.
And they're also listening on WXJM 88.7 FM Harrisonburg.
Yeah. No, it's, do you not think he's the greatest defensive catcher of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think it is? Because I don't think Pud Galvin was a catcher.
No, he wasn't. So, Jeremy, let me tell you the story of this good old guy.
Uh-huh.
His name is Jeff Mathis.
Sounds like a fake person.
He's a real person. And, he's pretty good defensively. I think there's better defensive catchers. I don't think there's anyone who is as good defensively. My computer just died. Like, both good defensively like that, but also could hit a decent amount. You know, could be a regular, everyday catcher while also being, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Could hit a decent amount while also being that elite defensive catcher.
Right.
I think he's the best at that. I don't think he's necessarily the best defensive catcher of all time, because I'm sure there's better defensive catchers, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does. I just, when you hear things like, when you steal a base off of Yachty, you go and take the base home as a memento.
Mm-hmm.
That, that doesn't... Thank you.
What?
The person in chat said the second camera is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, his computer just died. Yeah. When you hear stories like that, it's hard to be like, this guy, definitely not one of the greatest defensive catchers of all time, Just one of those things.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else in baseball that we needed to talk about?
No.
No?
There was nothing really in baseball to talk about.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about some baseball real
Yeah.
quick. Okay, there we go. I fixed it.
Good job.
Thank you. I was working on the OBS. Anyway, Hayden's gone from the stream that you should be checking out on YouTube. But me and Shane are still here. You can come see our lovely faces. Football. Football is back next week.
Real quick, Shane, do you have any hockey?
Oh yeah, hockey?
Yeah, there was
Go for
a
it.
few signings, like contract extensions and like last minute free agent signings. One of which was Phil Kessel.
Oh, I thought... Oh, no, he was in Arizona.
Yeah, he was in
Never mind.
Arizona. Talents were being wasted, I guess. And he signs a 1-year deal at $1.5 million with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh, that'll definitely help them
Yeah.
get under the cap.
There we go. Oh, injuries, they're just relying on long-term IR at this point.
Ugh.
But yeah, it's a good deal. You add forward depth. Vegas
he
wants
like-
to sign the veteran
Isn't he like
forwards.
90 years old at this point?
He's like in his mid to late 30s at this point. I don't know exact age, but yeah, he's getting up there in age. But it's a depth signing. He still can score. It doesn't hurt to add another veteran on the roster. It's just like they can bury his contract in the minors if they need to. But I think he's still a serviceable depth scorer on NHL team, especially at $1.5 million. Yeah, that's a good price for a depth forward. who can still score. Like, he's, again, still has a crazy shot. He's still a really good player.
Shane, what was the biggest addition of the offseason?
Well, Johnny Gaudreau signing in Columbus. He was the best free agent. And then the Matthew Tkachuk, Jonathan Huberdeau trade was just massive. I don't know the last time two players with over 100 points were ever traded for each other. Like, I think those would be the two biggest acquisitions. But I would say Johnny Gaudreau definitely best player of the offseason. Getting that big contract in Columbus is the biggest one.
All right. And what team most improved? What was the most improved team?
I would say
The Ducks, baby.
The Ducks.
no, not the Ducks. Given I got to give a lot of credit to Calgary, like, given the horrible situation they were dealt with, like Johnny Gaudreau leaving for their best player, leaving for nothing, and then Matthew Tkachuk not wanting to re-sign, and then you get a player will put up as many points as him, while also getting a good defenseman, and then signing Nazem Kadri in free agency. Like, I don't know how a team lost their two best players, yet somehow recoup the assets to still be competitive and still as good of a team.
Do you think they're better than they were?
No.
No.
But there's close, though.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
What do they need to improve then?
It's just like you're not going to have the top-end talent that you did last season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't replace a Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, but they did a good job, like, acquiring enough where it doesn't hurt as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then most improved, just like who became the most competitive.
Yeah, sure.
No, they didn't.
They added,
Well, they lost Ilya Mikheyev, who was a good depth piece.
yeah, but then
and then goaltending, I'm not sold on.
I'm
just
absolutely
yet.
sold. I've stamped,
Yeah.
cemented it, put it in the dirt, put it up in the sky,
I wouldn't
in
say
the cloud.
They're better. They're probably as good.
Nah,
It
Yeah.
was the Stars, right? Who re-signed Ottinger?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake Ottinger, one of your favorite goalies of the playoffs, signed a 3-year, $4 million AAV.
That's it?
Yeah, well, he's still relatively unproven.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's
like
that's
the
that,
Well, because he had one good season, right? So you had one good season. You sign a bridge deal, see if he can put it up for another few more years, and then you can give him a massive payday once he lives up to this bridge deal.
3 years for a bridge deal? That's a pretty big bridge deal.
Well, for the NHL, this is considered a bridge deal. Because he's, again, young goalie, so 3 years at $4 million, which is, like, pretty low for a starting caliber goalie, especially with the playoff performance he put up, like the potential he's shown. This is just like, hey, you're getting $12 million over the next 3 years, and if you continue to live up to that, we'll give you your massive payday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to double check that someone wasn't standing in the ceiling and doing, like, tap dances.
That's me, actually.
That's why his camera cut out. Because he's...
I'm in the walls.
Where'd you hear that? That you had to run to...
When I hear what?
Never mind. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay.
Oh, I finally come up with the most improved.
absolutely.
Ottawa
Let's hear it.
Senators, most improved team of the offseason. They get Alex DeBrincat. Alex DeBrincat can get 40 goals. They signed Claude Giroux as a free agent, who's a veteran who still can play in the top 6. And then they got Cam Talbot, who's a veteran goalie who's reliable and putting up like decent production.
All right.
So I would say that would be my biggest, most improved team.
Congratulations to the Ottawa Senators for winning the offseason. Please go to Shane Brisland in Harrisonburg, Virginia, to accept your reward. It is a single piece of uncooked spaghetti. but it has your name on it in excellent penmanship.
Might we add?
Yeah, I worked very hard on it.
And if you want more of that hard-hitting analysis, you gotta go to the Triple Threat Instagram, where Shane has done a deep dive on almost every single NHL team.
You're almost done, yeah?
We're halfway done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to go, Shane.
Thank you, I appreciate
Out
it.
here cranking out content while Jeremy and I just sit here and do nothing.
I'm cranking out content that isn't for the Triple Threat Instagram.
Oh?
It's also hockey content, though. Yeah, that's right. I'm a hockey writer now.
Speaking of more hockey content, head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Mike Sullivan, signs a 3-year extension.
There you go.
Very well deserved.
Is he the greatest coach? Is he like the greatest coach of this era? I've heard people say he's like comparing him to Bill Belichick.
He's not. No, not Bill Belichick. Again, let's give it a little more time because John Cooper, I would say, is probably the greatest coach right now. But again, like the head coach for the Avalanche, Bednar, he still has he could turn the Avs into a dynasty possibly if they continue to win.
With the Lightning.
Yeah.
He said John Cooper.
Oh,
yeah.
bad.
You're telling me you don't know the Lightning's head coach?
I don't know I don't know coaches in
Wow.
hockey.
Do you even listen to the
football.
Triple Threat show?
I don't.
He's definitely, I would say, top 3 of this past decade, but he's really good head coach.
All right.
He turned, I can't preface, that Penguins team had everybody injured in the first half of the season, and they still found a way to make playoffs. He is such a good coach. The Pittsburgh Penguins wouldn't be as competitive as they are if they didn't have him as head coach.
Right.
Then a few other massive extensions. JT Miller, he had 99 points last season. He's 29 years old, plays for the Vancouver Canucks. He signed a 7-year average annual value of $8 million per season. He's 29 years old, so of course the back half of this contract may not age well, but he's high-end offensive player, good with the Canucks. I'm surprised he wasn't traded because he was on trade rumors. It felt like all of last season, and so he got this massive extension. And then Tage Thompson of the Buffalo Sabres gets a 7-year, $50 million extension, so it's about $7 million per season. He had, again, a huge breakout year where he had 38 goals. But this is kind of reminding me of another Buffalo Sabre, Jeff Skinner, where he got a massive payday after one 40-goal season, in which he hasn't come close to those points totals since. But Tage Thompson is also a lot younger than Jeff Skinner. He's 24, so he's just now entering in the prime of his career. So I think this age will definitely age a lot better, and then we'll see what Tage Thompson does, if he can live up to this.
No way.
No way.
No way. I think there's a 50% chance.
Yeah.
50% chance he doesn't. 50% chance he doesn't.
So true.
I mean, in the brief times I've watched Buffalo, Tage Thompson seems like he's got a lot of skill, but we'll see how he develops.
All right. Well, hopefully that works out for them. Be cool to see Buffalo not be bad.
Yeah, longest playoff drought in the NHL.
Got nothing on the Mariners, let me tell you.
Have they clinched yet? The Mariners?
No, they're still in the wild card.
I thought they were winning the wild cards.
You don't clinch this early, Jeremy.
What they got a
This
6 win lead or something like that.
They're not even in first place.
Oh, who's ahead of them?
They're
DeRays?
tied for first with the Rays.
With DeRays.
And they only have a game and a half. They only have a half a game ahead of the
Never mind.
Jays.
No, never mind. I thought they were, you know.
So they're 5 games ahead of fourth place in the wild card, but that's the Orioles. Who would have thought?
They're hot right now. They called up this one guy, Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
He's looked good, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of defensive highlights from him.
He's like him and Corbin Carroll, who the Diamondbacks just called up, are probably the 2 best prospects in baseball right now. And so, I think this prospect class, recently, has been so good.
Yeah.
I think this is the most exciting
I mean,
group of prospects that have come up in the past while. I mean, like, you have Julio, you have Adley, you have Riley Green, who hasn't been super amazing, but he's got all this potential. You got Stephen Kwan, Gunnar Henderson, like, and there's so many other prospects who I didn't mention and are still gonna get called up, like, next year.
yeah.
Like DL Hall, Grayson Rodriguez. I mean, George Kirby's been really good for the Mariners. There's so many young guys in sports right now.
It's good.
It is really good.
It's really exciting.
Anyways, Shane, is that all you have for the NHL?
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Buffalo, they have one team that's in a rebuild and a massive
Bills.
playoff drought, but on the other end of the spectrum, they got a football team that is definitely a contender.
Before we get to football, I wanted to open the show with this, but I forgot to. Legendary career of one of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena Williams, officially ended this Friday.
Should we make it official?
Yeah, she said she was going to retire at the end of this tournament,
Okay.
before it started.
But she, I
So-
know she was talking about she was going to retire, but I don't remember if it was 100%.
She made the announcement before. Maybe it changes because she
Okay.
didn't win, but as of now, I'm treating it as
Oh, no.
a retirement.
Yeah, no, I didn't see the, like, official, like, this is my last tournament.
Yeah, but Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time. She's won 23 majors, which I believe is a record.
Yeah, so most in the modern era, second most all time.
Who's got more?
Margaret Court, but this was before the Open era, which is when they allowed. I think it was an amateur only kind of thing, and then they let it be open to professionals.
Oh, yeah, but she's 40 years old.
Yeah.
She's been doing tennis. I think I saw something where, in the time where she started playing professionally, or won her first major or something like that. Carlos Beltran was drafted, retired, was hired by the Mets,
Fired by the Mets.
fired by the Mets, and one other thing that he did, and then she kept playing.
And, like, Carlos Beltran had, like, a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, like,
Yeah.
a short little, like, stint. Like, no, he had,
It was 20 plus years, I believe.
he had, like, a long career. Yeah.
All that to say, the amount of sustained success that she has had
It's ridiculous.
is ridiculous. Is been probably unmatched by almost anyone. The only one that I think can come close is Tom Brady, with sustained success.
Yeah.
And even him, he's been doing it for 20 plus years. She's been doing it for almost, she's 40, so probably 25-ish at this point. You know, because you start tennis when you're super young.
Yeah, household name for women's tennis, and then also like a person of color too. So,
Right.
and again, like very minority position, like great representation for sports.
Right, and she is, she's just a really good person as well. She's had an incredible career. It's hard to overstate her accomplishments, her how much she's helped in women's sports in general, not just tennis, women's sports in general. Because when you have someone who's has a voice as big as hers, she can really affect change, and she's done a really good job with that. But I wish her well in retirement. And
I also have some other accolades.
Go
we can
for
add
it,
on to
absolutely.
So when we're talking about the GOATs, you always want to like list off those ridiculous stats they have, like just to show how much of a GOAT they are. So on top of her 23 Grand Slam single titles, she also, her total is 39 because that didn't even include the doubles that she had with Venus. And then she is also a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. And then a 5-time Women's Tennis Association championship. And then she won the 2017 Australian Open at the age of 36 while pregnant.
mm-hmm.
And then she also has the most singles tournament victories over the age of 30. She has 10. The next closest person has 3.
There you go.
So talk about sustained success and just like refusing to age and the longevity of her career. It's truly an impressive career.
Yeah.
That's 36 and pregnant and still proving you're the best tennis player in the world.
Yeah,
That is
she has
insane.
the record for most consecutive weeks being ranked number 1 overall. It's over 300. I don't remember the exact number, but it's over 300.
Yeah, for from 2013 to 2016, she held number 1 ranked female tennis player.
Tennis, ranks move up and down all the time. It's crazy. She's one of the greatest she's one of, if not the greatest athletes of all time, Not just in her sport, but in any sport.
Yeah. One of the most dominant athletes in her field.
Right.
I mean, since the 2000s, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's played before the 2000s.
Yeah, I'm saying, but, post 2000 on,
Yes.
easily the greatest.
She's easily up there with, the Michael Jordans, the Gretzkys, the Tom Bradys of the world.
Yep, absolutely. We all, from the Triple Threat Show, wish her the best in retirement. And thank her for everything she's done for the sports world, not just for tennis. So we'll get to football in a second, because we got to do our. I made my big old spreadsheet like I did last year. But before we do that, I want to remind everyone you are listening to the Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. Also on YouTube at the Triple Threat Show. Come check us out on Instagram. And maybe TikTok eventually if I post something. Maybe.
You won't.
Maybe.
You won't.
My name is Jeremy Lapidus, host of this Triple Threat Show, joined as always by my 2 friends and co-hosts.
Shane Brisland.
And
Hayden Raymer.
thank you, Hayden.
Dramatic fives.
I forgot your name for a sec.
What?
Where am I?
He's gone senile.
Yeah. Get sleep, kids. This is what lack of sleep does.
Who?
But football. NFL is back. The NFL starts on Thursday. Make sure to get your fantasy drafts in if you haven't done that yet.
I have one tomorrow.
Do you really?
Yeah, now I took over my class's team, so gotta draft now.
Wow, that's so hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, you and your spreadsheet, I have faith that you'll do well.
I'm gonna just absolutely mop the floor on this league. It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
They won't know what hit them.
But I just want to go through some of. I made my big old spreadsheet. I went through every single game and decided whether or not that team was gonna win.
Do you have any ties?
No.
You didn't particularly ties, Shane.
I told him I would if the Vikings were playing the Texans.
I appreciate that. All right.
But they're not. So,
Who are they playing?
not the Texans.
All right. So where do we begin with this?
All right. I'm going to start with some things that when I went through this, I was like, that's got to be wrong. But spreadsheet don't lie, right?
Sure.
The Chiefs. Good old Kansas City Chiefs. Were the only team in that division that got worse, right? And I taxed them a little, probably too heavy for that. I have them losing their division. Going 10-7, which, is pretty good. And missing the playoffs. It doesn't look right to me. It doesn't sound right to me.
Well, one of those teams.
But one of them has to miss it.
Yeah.
And why not the Chiefs?
It's just that division's such a crapshoot. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me any one of them missed the playoffs, because one of them's got to do it. Like, a good team's gonna have to miss out of that division, and it may be the Chiefs, because that division is stacked.
Hayden, Shane, I want you to guess which team has the best record on my spreadsheet.
The Bills.
What you got?
Best record on your spreadsheet.
Best record on my spreadsheet.
It's gotta be the Jets, baby.
It's the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's also a good choice.
13-4. They have a relatively easy schedule, and they get lucky with teams they're playing. Like, they're playing the Browns, but they're playing them early in the season. And, their division isn't the strongest outside of the Ravens, who I think are going to be really good this year. So, I'm going 13-4. Best team in the league. And, of course, the New York Football Giants. No bias at all in my spreadsheet here. Are going 6-10, 6-11, and missing the playoffs.
That's far more tame than I thought you would have given them.
What do you think I was gonna say? 17-0?
No, I thought you were gonna be more like at the the 9-game mark, and I'm like, no way.
No, they have not the hardest schedule.
The Giants?
Yeah, they play the Panthers,
I
the
heard they had
Bears, the Jags, the Seahawks, and the Texans.
Yeah, so I think when it came to strength of schedule, I think ESPN had them ranked the easiest.
It's a very easy schedule.
Yeah.
But it's the Giants,
yeah.
and they're going to find a way to lose games. Because, just because they have an easy schedule, but they also play the Cowboys twice, the Eagles twice. Those are really good teams. They play the Packers, they play the Ravens. They're going to lose. They play the Vikings and the Colts. These are good teams. They might play all 5 of the worst teams in the league, including the Commanders twice. But, the Giants, they're going to lose.
Should we get into playoff predictions?
Yeah, I'm here for that.
All right. Let's start off with the AFC.
AFC.
AFC East. Who do you have winning the division?
AFC East. I have the Buffalo Bills.
I have the Bills too.
The Buffalo Buffs are very, very good.
Yeah.
What?
It's the Jets, baby. It's always been the Jets.
The Bills.
That's the Bills.
They've got this guy. Not sure if you heard of him. Goes by the name of Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good at football. He can absolutely sling the ball, and he's built like a linebacker, so he can truck you. And he's very fast, and he's very strong, and I don't know if I said this yet, he's very good at football. And he's probably going to win the MVP. The Bills are a scary team. They upgraded at wide receiver. They upgraded their team, which was hard to do. They got Von Miller, right? Their defense was already very solid, but you add a guy like Von Miller, there you go. They drafted Kyer Elam in the first round. He's going to be a very good addition in the secondary for them. And then you make a very minor upgrade on offense with replacing Cole Beasley with Jamison Crowder, who they both play a similar position, but I think Crowder is a little bit better. But, they also lost their offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll, head coach of the Giants now. And that's going to obviously affect how that offense runs. So we don't know how that is going to affect them. But I think this team is good enough that it won't really matter.
I also think that the rest of the teams in the division are bad enough.
Yeah, I'm not too high on anybody in that division.
I mean, the Dolphins were good last year. I think that had a lot to do with their coaching, and that's not there anymore.
Yeah, but they're on paper, they have a high-octane offense. Just getting Tyreek Hill, that's a huge playmaker on offense. And then the Patriots, again, you can never count out the Patriots, but they look pretty weak to me. And then they have the Jets.
It is McCorkle.
Yeah.
But The Dolphins, they added Tyreek Hill. Let's not underestimate that. Tyreek Hill is the best weapon in all of football, okay? His speed kills, okay? That's just a fact. He is the best weapon in all of football. And if Tua can get him the ball, it doesn't have to be a deep route. If they can hit a crosser or two with the speed they have on the field, him and Jalen Waddle, think about the slant routes that they can run. Think about that. Boom, boom, off to the races. It doesn't matter which one of them gets it. And if you're trying to cover that, you have an excellent tight end, practically a wide receiver in Mike Gesicki, just right there, you know? He has incredible hands. He's not utilized enough in that offense, and he's not going to be. But he is... That weapon, that offense is full of weapons. And I think the Dolphins have the chance to be very good. It just depends on whether or not Tua can make that leap. They did everything they can. There's two teams like that.
What about their defense, though?
Their defense is very good.
Okay.
Their defense, they do like an amoeba defense, and they kind of just like jump around before before the play starts, so that the quarterback can't read them, and that takes a lot of really good coaching first of all. So that's what they did the last couple years under Brian Flores and his staff. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that, but you can't read the defense like that. The downside to that is, if you're not disciplined, you're going to get caught out of position when you're doing that. The Dolphins' defense made that work. That is a really tough defense to make work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of good coaching. It takes players that are really know what their job is and how to do it. And that defense is good. It might not be as good as years past, but you still have Xavier Howard, one of the best corners in the league. You still have Andrew Van Ginkel. He's a really good, promising young linebacker. Could probably upgrade at the defensive line. But
who's their head coach now?
Glasses dude from. He looks like Hayden, actually. From the 49ers.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
I'm just worried because it's just Brian Flores was such a good head coach, and you're just downgrading. I'm just worried how the new head coach is going to handle.
We'll have to see.
That.
But
where is he again?
He's the linebackers coach for Pittsburgh.
Assistant linebackers coach for Pittsburgh.
Assistant line.
Remember, he is still suing the NFL, so
should
it's
be
a wonder
thankful.
he has a job.
Yeah.
It's because Mike Tomlin is Mike Tomlin, and
I don't know, actually.
he's a very good coach. He's very, very long tenured. He has a lot of respect around the league.
Yeah.
He's one of the few black coaches that are in the league. So
Very successful too.
yes, one of the,
Doesn't have a losing record.
he's never had a losing record.
Yeah.
So
Right. Moving on to the AFC West, this was probably the toughest to predict a winner. Jeremy, who do you have winning this division?
So I have a 3-way tie.
I mean, yeah, toughest division.
I have the
Okay.
Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders all going 12-5.
That they all should be somewhere around that.
I've decided to put the Chargers on top because I think the Chargers should win the division.
Yeah.
Because I really love the Chargers team.
I have the Chargers too, but I'm very hesitant about picking the Chargers because they are the Chargers. I
Yeah.
just feel like
Who I picked?
they're gonna find some way to mess this up.
Who'd you pick?
I picked my little goth boy.
Derek Carr.
Of course I picked the Raiders.
Yeah.
No, the Chargers upgraded on defense, which was the issue last year. So they got rid of their biggest weakness.
The
And
Raiders got Devontae Adams.
they did. The Raiders are scary.
Yeah.
That's why I also have them going 12-5. I actually think I had them going 13-4, and then I switched it because I was like, the Chiefs can't win 9 games.
They have to win 10.
Yeah. It made me feel better to see a double-digit number in the win column for them.
So what you're saying is, of all the teams most likely on paper, in your head originally, gut feeling, the Raiders were the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's what he said.
AFC North, who do you got winning that division?
Bengals, we talked about this
Bengals,
already.
Yeah.
And then the AFC, what's it left? The South?
Yeah.
Got the Colts.
Colts.
They upgraded quarterback, and that's really their only weakness.
Yeah,
Then-
I'll agree.
We'll run the wild cards real quick. I've got the Broncos, Raiders. We talked about that, and the Ravens. Ravens with a healthy Lamar, scary, right? They got healthy. You know how injured they were last year, and just imagine what they could do if they're healthy.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I have, mine aren't too different. I have Chiefs, Baltimore, Raiders. It's just one of those teams had to be the odd man out, and I just chose the Broncos.
It's fair.
I just like the Raiders a little bit better.
I agree.
Broncos, Dolphins, Ravens.
I like it. I like it.
So you have the Chiefs missing the playoffs?
Of course.
I like it.
I just can't.
What's his face can't do TikTok dances on the sideline anymore during the playoffs.
What do you mean? He's got a new friend to do it with. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Despite how much I hate that, Patrick Mahomes still, him and Travis Kelce, that dangerous offense. Andy Reid's a good head coach. I just can't choose against that yet.
Does not have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, that's why I have them missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Tyreek Hill is the greatest weapon in football. And I don't know if Juju is enough to replace that.
But it's still Patrick Mahomes, though.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they're still going to win 10 games.
Yeah.
You know? But it's also it's going to be an issue without Tyreek Hill.
I just think Patrick Mahomes is that good enough of a quarterback where they still make that wild card.
That's fair. We'll run through the NFC.
Yeah.
NFC East, I've got the Eagles winning it. I love what the Eagles did this offseason. They surrounded Jalen Hurts with talent. They didn't say, maybe I don't want you.
Yeah.
They said, okay,
We're going to give you a chance to succeed.
here are the keys. This is your team for the year. Do something.
It's kind of like Tua.
Exactly. Yes, they're very similar. They're both from Alabama. They both played at the same time at Alabama. And they're both in, here are the keys, do your thing or you're out years. They have given them both everything they need. Weapons. A.J. Brown, right? They made that trade. They fixed the defense. They went and got corners. They traded for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's earlier this week. Very underrated trade. I don't know why the Saints did that. We'll talk about that later. They signed James Bradbury. You know, they really fixed the corners, which were the weakest part of their defense. They still have Fletcher Cox. They still have Brandon Graham. That Super Bowl defense is still there. I really love what the Eagles did this offseason, and I hate the Eagles. So they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the division.
You know, with that little rant you gave me, you've now convinced me that the Eagles were winning this division.
It's also a little thing of no one has gone back-to-back with division champions in the NFC East since 2004.
I just needed a reason not to pick the Cowboys. It's just like, you know,
Jeremy,
you're,
that reason.
yeah, pick your poison, Eagles, Cowboys. I'd much rather pick the Eagles over the Cowboys.
I have both of them going 10-7 this year, but the Cowboys aren't going to win it because that's just the NFC East for you.
And then NFC West.
The Rams.
Rams.
The Rams.
Yep. All right. NFC North.
This was a really close one.
Yeah.
I have the Packers and the Vikings both going 10-7 this year. I have the Packers winning the division because of some tiebreaker that I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
I have the Packers winning too. I am a Vikings fan, but as a Vikings fan, you got to keep your expectations realistic, and this division is going to the Packers again.
I think the Vikings are going to be really good this year.
I
really
hope
do.
so.
I think the Vikings make the playoffs this year. I think the Vikings finally break the curse. I think they win a playoff game.
Well, they did win a playoff game.
Nope,
against
not
the
enough.
Saints. Well, yeah, of course, you can never win enough playoff games, but we did beat the Saints twice in like a 5-year span or something like that.
Yeah, no, you're right. They got rid of Mike Zimmer, and I think that's going to make them much better.
That offense should be so deadly now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just frustrating not seeing that offense live up to its potential.
Yep.
And now I think this is the head coach.
Oh, I swear to God, if my computer dies.
All right. Hayden, who do you got? NFC North. Packers. All right. And then the NFC South.
Bucks,
Bucks.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tampa.
All right, and then we'll run through the wild cards. Wild cards, I mentioned it, Vikings, Cowboys, both tied for division, lose on tiebreakers. And my last one is the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he'll do good. I believe in him.
For me, I have, in no particular order, Vikings, Cowboys, and then I have the 49ers. I just think 49ers will find some way to get in.
See, I don't trust Trey Lance.
Well, it's just we got Jimmy Garoppolo if Trey Lance doesn't live up to it. And it's just like the 49ers, they just always find some way to stay in there. They find a way to win.
49ers go to the Super Bowl, get the number 1 pick, and then go back to the Super Bowl, right? That's what they do. They just went to the NFC Championship game. It's time for them to go back to the basement.
Yeah.
But, like, can Trey Lance be I mean, Jimmy's just not bad. He's not good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Jimmy G does exactly what they needed him to do, right? He did exactly what they asked him to do, and he didn't do more, right? What they're seeing in Trey Lance is a guy that can do what Jimmy G did, plus add that other element. There's nothing that Jimmy
G is what people think Kirk Cousins is.
Yes.
Because Kirk Cousins is like, I feel like people think Kirk Cousins isn't as bad as people think he is.
No, he's not. He's not at all.
I think they think he's a Jimmy Garoppolo when he's actually more like a Derek Carr. Like a diet Derek Carr.
I love that. I watched a little bit of Trey Lance last season because Jimmy G wasn't the healthiest. And he didn't look great throwing the ball. And they said he was playing on a broken finger all of last year. Okay, fine. I'll wipe that slate as clean as I can. But my first impression was him underthrowing Deebo Samuel by like 10 yards while he was the only one on the side of the field. And Deebo taking it to the house because he's special, right? That's my first impression of that's what I picture when I see Trey Lance, right? And maybe that's not fair. Maybe that's not fair of me to do, but I just don't trust him until I can see him actually put the product on the field. Because the product that I have seen on the field is not enough right now. And that's what it comes down to. That's why I don't have the 49ers in.
I just think with that coaching staff, they just always find some way to win despite the odds.
Yes.
I think that for me is a huge factor. And like the rest of the team is still solid. That defense is still pretty good. So I'm sticking with the 49ers. And again, it's really a boom or bust for Trey Lance. That's the huge X factor there.
Right, I agree. If Trey Lance can be what they want him to be, the 49ers can win the Super Bowl this year, okay? They can be the best team in football this year if Trey Lance is who they think he is. If he is who I think they are, if he is who I think he is, they'll still be good, but they'll be
Because when it comes to like rookie quarterbacks, because we heard the same thing about Patrick Mahomes. I've heard a lot, like before Patrick Mahomes did, Patrick Mahomes things, there were a lot of questions about whether or not he could be the guy in Kansas City.
Right.
Like Alex Smith had a really good year before they went to Patrick Mahomes. And people were like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is the guy. Is he really that good? I have a lot of speculation. And then he becomes one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Right.
I feel like this is another
Look,
situation.
and I was on the same page that I am with Trey Lance on Mahomes. Everyone was like, draft him number 1 overall in fantasy, and I was like,
yeah.
Sure, he'll be okay, but what is he going to be that's so special? And then he went and threw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I've been wrong in the past, and I'm not going to say that this is a 100% accurate take. This is just what I've seen, and
it's quarterback. It
is a crapshoot. But look, Trey Lance obviously has the talent. It's just whether or not he can put it on the field.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been drafted 3rd overall if they didn't see the talent that he had. Trey Lance can make the 49ers legitimately the best team in football. I wholeheartedly, you talked about it, that defense, insane. Their weapons, insane. You have Deebo, you have Brandon Ayuk, and you have George Kittle, right? These 3 guys, you throw them against almost any other skill group in the league, they win that, right? Almost any other skill group. Not everyone. But you throw that with an elite quarterback, done. over. That's the Chiefs the last couple years, except with a good defense. And that is terrifying. That is a possible 17-0 right there. And that's just something that is, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's completely possible. But it's something that I don't believe until I see. You know? Sorry.
By the way, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, and the 49ers, we kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the Vikings missing it?
Yeah.
Aw, doing the dirty.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I
it's the
think that-
Vikings. I really can't be too upset. Like, again,
Sorry.
expect disappointment.
I got a little carried away, but we're running low on time. Hayden,
Yeah,
do you have a question of the week for us?
I do. Okay, so this one I really like. Really proud of this one. So we were talking about like faces of sports and like greats, all-time greats. Who are like the upcoming faces of like all the sports? You know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Give you a little go. Right?
Okay.
We'll start in basketball.
Basically.
Luka Doncic.
Okay.
Yeah. He's already basically there.
Mhm.
He's only gonna get better. He's super young.
Mhm.
Baseball. You can go a lot of different ways here. I'll go with Julio. Okay. He's exciting. He's young and he's vibrant and he's only gonna get better. That's another one of those. Hockey. I mean, there's not really anyone because they don't have personalities.
They don't have personality.
Yeah, McDavid, but he's already the face of the league.
Yeah.
I
mean, but he's still young enough where it's not like
he's like
He's
like 28 at this point. Yeah.
He's like mid-20s. I think he's like 25, 26 now.
yeah, that's young enough.
Right.
It's not like he's a Ovechkin, you know?
Right. No, I know what you're saying. The next rung of hockey is McDavid and Matthews.
Yeah.
Again, it's not because of their personality. It's just because hockey players don't really show a personality, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's just the
They're
NHL
very
for you.
Private guys.
Right.
Trevor Zegras, though,
He could be that.
he
You're
could
right.
be that personality guy.
And that'd be something that the NHL really needs.
Yeah.
And then football. We talked about it. Mahomes, Josh Allen, they're already kind of there. We talked about it just a second ago. Trey Lance could be that guy. Okay? If everything hits, it's Trey Lance. If not,
How old is Mahomes?
he's like 25, 26.
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna
super
say,
young. Yeah, it's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But if everything hits, it's Trey Lance. Cuz he's going to be in that 3 group. That's my answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say for hockey, it's pretty much. It's just end of an era. Crosby Ovechkin, that was the huge marketed rivalry, and that we're kind of coming to the end of that. And like right now, it's McDavid's and Matthews league right now. Those are the 2 marquee players. It's not really a rivalry, but those are the 2 best players.
They're both in Canada. You could
and
do
Cale McCarr too. Oh my God, he's so good at hockey. I can't forget about defense. Oh, Cale McCarr's so good.
I love that.
Yeah, that's for others. Yeah, again, I really don't know enough about other sports to give solid opinions. So.
All right. What you got?
Baseball, have to agree. It's got to be Julio. Just because I'm in love with that man. In basketball, I think we got 2.
Okay.
And this one, I'm a little bit shooting the gun a little before I guess Jaw's already broken out a little bit. But he's going to be up there. He's exciting. He's super fun to watch. I think Zion,
If he can stay healthy.
if he's going to get his stuff together. I think he's going to get his act together.
He just signed a Supermax, so he's there.
He's going to get his stuff together, and he is going to pop off. Because when he's been on the court,
He's played around a full season, and he's been incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't stay healthy.
And if he can get his stuff act together and all that and stay healthy, he's up there by far.
Yeah.
Hockey, agree with David Matthews. And then in the NFL, it's Matt Stafford.
Young and upcoming right there.
Young
Matthew
and
Stafford.
I don't care. If Brady can be the face for this long, Matt Stafford can do it for another.
Stafford is going to retire before Tom Brady even looks like he's 30.
Oh, I think it says Honey though in baseball.
Yeah. No.
How old
They
is
don't
Otani?
He's like 27.
They don't market him enough.
They don't.
He's so good. He's like
At least
as
you're
good
like
as Shane
somewhat
McClanahan,
surprised.
who's like one of the top pitchers in the American League. and he's hitting as well as Mookie Betts right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of young faces in the league, real quick, I saw again this upcoming draft is like most hyped up prospects going top 5. So I think those guys coming up are gonna be the faces of the league, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, my computer's at 2%, so I'm gonna end it before it dies on us. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to the Triple Threat Show on WXJM 88.7 FM, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and WXJM.org. Also on the YouTube at the Triple Threat Show. Go check us out. Go check us out on Instagram. Go check out Shane's hockey stuff. It's really, really good. I promise you're gonna love it.
And if you don't,
something's wrong with you.
Exactly.
My name has been Jeremy Lapidus, host of this Triple Threat Show, joined as always by my 2 friends and co-hosts,
Shane Brisland
and
Hayden Raymer.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you for listening for an entire year. We appreciate it more than you could know. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. Shane, we got a DM during the show on the Instagram.